We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. 120K or bust. I bought it at 77. Come get me. Come get me. YouTube member area just got done with their stream. Let me just tell you right now. You listen to what she said when I asked her about upside targets, upside timing, and the concluding speech about why to be in crypto. You will never listen to any bearish hootenanny again. You won't. Right? And in the middle tier offering, Patreon just been pounding the table, pounding the table, pounding the table. Bitcoin is here. Bitcoin is here. Bitcoin is here. You can't believe what's going to happen here. You can't believe it. Right? No, the orange man, he was pretty nimble with Twitter and Truth, right? Got himself sort of out of a pickle temporarily. Okay, temporarily. Meanwhile, stocks, the behavior of governments in Europe, they point to two things. Bitcoin and antivirus. Bitcoin now, antivirus in the summer, right? 2 million market cap. Everybody giving me a hard time about it on Twitter too. So the more they build, the more they try to give the marketing guy a hard time. So you know what the marketing guy is going to do? He's going to double down on antivirus, on Bitcoin, on crypto, on everything. Because the Bitcoin strategic reserve is next. It's next, right? When tariff talk tops, Bitcoin goes up. That's a 2017 thing. And now that we've seen what happens when hedge funds blow up, stocks go down 20% or 25%, hedge funds blow up. Private equity's got problems. Very interested to see if anybody wants our 30-year long bond today. We're doing like, I don't know, 29 billion, something like that. We're issuing, selling, government, Uncle Sugar, refining 29 billion in 30-year bonds. Interested to see how that goes. And we have Jamie Dimon's attempt at an earnings report. Earnings. Yeah, okay. It's not what they have in it, it's what they leave out of it. Whatever. Jamie Dimon can go get bent. Right? These guys, they're all liars on the bank side. The corporations are all evil. Michael Saylor's number 2 guy at strategy is at MIT going, Bitcoin is freedom from corporations. I couldn't agree more, right? I also couldn't agree more with the orange man sticking it to Chinese communists. I'm not particularly a big fan of communists at all, okay? I'm actually named after a guy who fought in the Cold War and met his end, right, at the hands of the communists. And it's so beautiful because in Texas, we've got all their Bitcoin. So the orange man can just lean on them till the cows come home, as far as I'm concerned. Matter of fact, that should have been the original messaging. But now that they've got the original messaging, the next thing they're going to do is, I'm telling you, they're going to move to Bitcoin. It's organic. It's like, well, we don't like the communists, and well, we don't like this trade regime, and they've been taking advantage of us. Oh, by the way, we've got all their Bitcoin, and we're just going to keep leaning on them because their currency is crashing. Chinese currency is absolutely crashing, right? Absolutely crashing. Done, right? Like everybody in Hong Kong's got to buy gold. Everybody in Hong Kong's got to buy Bitcoin. I don't know if you remember this. This was like before the election last year. It's like, oh, China's coming. Hong Kong's coming. They got a Bitcoin ETF in Hong Kong. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do with your money? Sit there and watch the Chinese currency collapse or buy the Bitcoin ETF? To me, it's an absolute no-brainer. Right now, I mean, are equities, are people going to sell the rally in equities to hedge? I don't know. We're going to go over the last time you had one of these 8% rallies. I have it in the PowerPoint. It's actually very interesting, particularly when it comes to this whole idea of decoupling, right? This whole idea of decoupling, meaning you just wake up one day, it's like equities, man, Bitcoin just gone, right? Everyone's like, oh yeah, I got plenty of time to buy it. Yeah, I got plenty of time. Arthur Hayes was actually right about 76. It was unbelievable. You got the 76 and no one wanted it. Bullish sentiment was at 0. Bullish sentiment in equities was at 0. And again, you listen to what was said in the YouTube memory area, you're going to be completely all set. I'm all set. I'm good to go. I'm good. Yeah. You know, I'm going to buy more Bitcoin. And the next thing I'm going to buy is more antivirus because, again, what these governments in Europe are doing, it's just crazy. Supposedly, there was a government in Germany that was center right. And now they're just like on their merry way of canceling free speech. They're just on their way of just shutting it down. Okay. Uh-oh, here we go. Here we go. Breaking news from the Eagle King. Orange Man just asked the Supreme Court for the authority to fire Jerome Powell. Remember Jerome Powell with his dot plots talking about, oh my God, 4% inflation. Watch out. Watch out. Watch out. Orange Man asked Supreme Court to immediately fire top officials at 2 agencies. See it. Right? You know, you had your chance, bro, and you missed it. Now they're going to have to do something at the, I mean, if they, whether he gets removed or not, they're going to have to get the bazooka out at the May meeting. This whole thing about 25 basis points is a joke. I mean, this hedge fund trade that was blowing up, it didn't unblow up because you had an 8% rally in treasuries. Maybe the Fed could come in with high-powered money and save them, which I think is in progress. And every time that happens, Bitcoin smokes. This whole thing where you can have $3 trillion, like, do you realize they added $3 trillion to a stock market cap yesterday? 3T. I'm about to try to pull it up on the screen. Crypto isn't worth $3 trillion. The one-day change in equities market cap was greater than all of crypto. And you're going to tell me, or people are telling me, that it's crazy that you could add 500 billion to Bitcoin market cap like that. Now, one thing I have not brought up on any shows, except I saved it for today, is something very simple. Very simple. Extreme volatility is like the common cold, right? It spreads from market to market. Right. So first you had insane volatility in stocks. Then you had insane volatility in bonds, right? Because the MOVE index, right? Okay, so let's do it this way. VIX indices. And this matters because this is going to set the stage for literally everything that I'm going to say. So I'm coming back to total market cap. But I have to go off on this first because if you don't hear this, you know, if you don't got time to listen and you got to listen to the market update in an elevator, oh my God, what did I just do? Okay, if you got to listen to the market update in an elevator, okay, so this is VXX, right? This is not as crazy as VIX. VXX went to its yen carry trade high. VIX itself went to its yen carry trade high and actually closed at 60. So that was volatility in stocks. Then it went to volatility in bonds. That's MOVE. Okay, MOVE, which is like fear for bonds, went back to its November high. So everyone was afraid of the Orange Man being so pro-business. Oh my God. That inflation was going to get out of control. Remember that? Yeah, okay. So bond market volatility went straight up. Now, what's next? What's the next completely insane, out of control move that's going to go on? How about total crypto market cap absolutely goes to the moon, right? So we're adding $3 trillion a day. We're swinging equities market cap, $3 trillion a day. Crypto, compared to some things, okay, crypto isn't down. Crypto was down. Okay, what happens if total crypto market cap gets through this Fibonacci circle line, which was a complete pain in my you-know-what, because it couldn't hold it. I wanted it to break out Because if it breaks out, the next level is like some crazy number. It's crazy. The next number in total crypto market cap, on like a Fibonacci circle basis, is 5.2 trillion. So we can add $3 trillion in one day to Stonks, right? The index of corporate Web 2 enslavers. How about that? Let's make sure we get less than 1,000 views with that term. Who cares? $3.5 trillion in one day to the index of Jamie Dimon and the rest of the criminals that own Congress, own you. I got a better idea. How about we give them a big GFU and double the market cap of Bitcoin between now and that Bitcoin conference that nobody wants to go to except me in May? Right? Let's do it. Ready? I'm ready. Right? They played around and now they're going to find out. They cracked the system or they revealed the cracks in the system on purpose or otherwise, and then boom. 5 trillion crypto market cap. Bang. Everyone out, everyone bearish, everyone short, everyone trying to explain to me, oh yeah, there's all these reasons. No, there isn't. No, there isn't. Michael Saylor's getting liquidated, whatever. Shorts are getting liquidated. If you're underinvested in this thing, when it takes off, forget about it. That's my opinion. Right? And then meanwhile, like I said, you go 8% up and then they turn around and sell it again. And that's fine because they're giving you opportunities. Right? And then, you're going to have intense volatility. You're going to have the long bond auction today, which could freak people out. But what people are really missing, in my opinion, is that the dollar is crashing. The dollar is crashing. Right? And it's not going to stop. The Chinese currency is crashing. That's not going to stop. And the orange man wants to fire Jerome Powell because Jerome Powell has, I don't know if you could invent different ways for Jerome Powell to screw up than he's already created, right? He kept rates at 4% with a dot plot of inflation right before this whole thing imploded, and now you have systemic stress. I know this is a mess, but the last time you had action like this, where you had a top and then it glided below the 200-week moving average, it just fell apart. This was 2002 in the dollar. Dollar is done. This has got to be the end. The only way out of a debt crisis is to devalue the currency. And they're selling Bitcoin today. Good. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Have they taken it below 80 again? No. All right. We'll see if they're brave enough to take it below 80. Right. And ETH down 8% today. I think that could be another gift, to be honest. Because they revealed, again, this from the YouTube member area, some things have appeared. You can't unsee this. You can't unsee what we just saw. And we can't act like it goes away in one day. Private equity is trapped. Private equity investors cannot get their liquidity out. It's not tokenized. They may have to sell S&P futures. We're going to go through the cough, cold, and flu parallel, which I got something great, which basically showed the bottom in crypto. And you can have, you can theoretically have another puke in equities. We'll go over to TA. But I think it's kind of obvious, right? The decoupling is here. You just have to sit here and wait for the day when everyone just goes, boom, and Bitcoin's gone. And then everything else is following Bitcoin, right? This literally is, it feels like the old days in crypto where you're just waiting for Bitcoin to just go and go and go and go. People are too used to that acting in a boring manner. If volatility moves from market to market, what volatility? That hasn't been volatility. Yeah, okay, ETH went down. That was kind of shocking. So I guess that's volatility. But what about that explosive volatility, especially since I'm taking the other side of Ray Dalio and all these apocalyptic guys to continue to believe that the way to vent the pressure in the system is Bitcoin higher. And you start getting any hints of the Bitcoin strategic reserve, they have to change the subject, right? They almost blew up the world. Then they figured out how to stick it to the Chinese and make themselves look smart, I think. Now they got to change the subject quickly. Quickly. Okay, let's welcome who's here. Now that I just kind of went off. Okay, we have Bull Runner is in the house. Richard Barry is here. Welcome. Randall. Everyone is freaking out. No, man. No. Easter seasonals. I'm ready. Bezan, what's up? Members, today's Tech Bites with that McAfee emoji. I'm coming out aggressive on antivirus. Like we are going to get the antivirus airplane out of the hangar and get it back in the air. I'm more bullish on that than ever, especially when you see this stuff that's coming out of Germany. I'm serious, right? I'm over it. It's official. Like we got to have it. And the more they give me a hard time about it, the more convinced I am that it's just going to the moon. Seriously, they're building and they're trying to give me a hard time about it personally. It's like the most bullish thing I've ever seen. Bitcoin should go much higher than 120K once QE starts back up. Dude, QE started yesterday. And they're going to have to keep going, right? Joe Hackman, welcome. Owls Limited. Full Service Pest Control, a member, welcome. Welcome. Bob Marsh, Philip Kohler, Bud74, Israel, right? Israel, welcome. Yav, Daniel J, Donato, right? Naiden, Philip, GF, Pancakes and Peanut Butter. Welcome to the show. Tussle, right? DC Precise. Andreas, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Okay. Now, all right, let's get into news. Okay, Orange Man wants to get rid of Powell. So Powell is done. He's basically been told you're going to cut rates by 75 basis points, or I'm going to put somebody in there who's going to cut rates by 75 basis points. And it's also pretty clear, all right, that they had an emergency meeting and they let this hedge fund trade happen. As soon as I saw this, I'm like, you know what? This thing where the hedge fund trade blew up, they could have stopped that 3 days ago, but they let it happen to the administration anyway. Right now, I don't know. They seem to have bailed themselves out of it. Right. And I do think you are going to see these guys epically, regardless of who's in charge. You cannot have the hedge funds blowing up the government bond market. You just can't. So either Powell's going to get it together, or Powell has already gotten it together, or they're going to get someone else in there who's going to take care of it. Most likely, I'm guessing it's Bessent. Right. Bessent is doing all the talking on economics anyway. He might as well do it at the Fed. U.S. inflation falls to 2.4%. Again, who's paying $25 for a ribeye steak at the grocery store? People with NVIDIA money. Take the NVIDIA money away, and guess what? Prices go down. Prices don't go up by themselves. Prices go up because people pay them. Right? Orange Man's popularity, by the way, I mean that in a sincere, respectful sense. Can't stop saying it. I know I should, but can't. Okay. The Orange Man's popularity went up, supposedly, off the stock market route. It went up. Right? Joe Public's like, yeah. Right. You know, the hyper-inflated nonsense is over. Permanently, it's over. Yeah, that can go back up. That can trade in the range. I don't think any of that is inaccurate as an investment that you want to do. Right? They get rid of Powell and they start talking to strategic reserve. You have no idea what can happen here on the upside. And again, everyone's trying to sell the uptick. I know yesterday's rally was a little bit too big, but still. People are addicted to negativity. They can't get enough. I mean, Ray Dalio's got volumes going out. The empire's over. It's all over. It's done. It's only done if you're not in crypto. That's the part they just don't get. Okay, so one of the largest malls in U.S. just blew up. Okay, these losses are everywhere. These losses are everywhere. See, and that's not the problem. Really, it's not the problem. Yes, they're out there. We all know it's out there. It's the worst kept secret in the world, but they just won't say it. This is why this is the case for Bitcoin. They just won't say it. It's not in the bank earnings release. Jamie Dimon's not talking about it. They're not talking about it, right? Even the current administration is not talking about the fact that there's probably no bid for treasuries unless they cut a trade deal with people. I mean, this is what this is all about, right? What's our biggest export? Bonds. Got to make sure people buy our bonds. You want to keep the trade deal you currently have? Fine. You're going to be buying our bonds, right? It's not the new golden age of trade. It's we got to fund 9T. And they're not telling you everything about that. They're just not. They're not. And they're not telling you about this either. So again, 80K Bitcoin. I mean, are you saying Bitcoin can't 3X from here in 9 months? Why would you tell me that that's not true? Everybody was talking about 250 when it was at 109. Now it's at 80, and you can't get anybody to talk about 95. Who's talking about 95? Nobody. I want to talk about 120, as you can tell by the thumbnail, right? 120. Why would that not happen, like, quickly? Everyone thinks they can't do it. They can swing stock market cap in $1 trillion increments, and we can't add 250 to 500 billion quickly? Oh, stop it. Great news. The big, beautiful bill is coming. Republicans are working together nicely. Biggest tax cut in American history. Hopefully that means a transaction tax on USA cryptos. And getting the strategic reserve going would be helpful. Would be super helpful. Right? And it's going to happen. Right? They got to change the subject. They got to change the subject. Right? They can lean on the Chinese all they want. And they're already doing that. They just don't need to do it on the tape and embarrass them. Because if you embarrass them, on top of leaning on them, that could turn out bad. They got to change the subject. Okay, so everybody is gushing over POTUS, over the art of the deal, anchoring as a negotiating tactic. Personally, I think they were flying by the seat of their pants with Barron's 9th grade economics project. And then when it looked like the whole world was really going to blow up and bullish sentiment went to zero, somebody walked into the Oval Office and said, well, what are you going to do? It's like, oh, well, let's do a tweet. And then let's back off. And then let's just get all the ninnies leaning. So the ninnies know who's in charge. Because at the end of the day, whether it was art of the deal or anchoring or whatever it is, right? They showed the cracks in the system. And if you want to know what that means, you better get over to the YouTube member area and check out today's podcast. Now, to the Chinese communists from the state of Texas, GFU. Can we finally make movies that show how bad the CCP really is? Apparently, the Chinese have banned American films. Great. Awesome. You know what, bro? You can watch your propaganda shows, and we in Texas, we have all your Bitcoin, and you can't have it back. So you and Vladdy with your BRICS group and your Chinese toilet paper as the world's reserve currency, good luck with that. Not only are we going to do Bitcoin, we're going to moon Bitcoin in your face. So we have your Bitcoin, you as in the Chinese, we have your Bitcoin, and we're going to moon it in your face. It's your Bitcoin. You gave it away. We have it. And then we're just going to indiscriminately moon it. That's going to be Uncle Sugar and Mr. Market or both. I think Mr. Market can just do it by itself. But if Uncle Sugar is like, yeah, okay, let's start talking it up again. Or if we can get, I don't know, clowns like Lutnick to say anything. I don't know why Lutnick is talking about trade. He's from Cantor Fitzgerald. He should be talking about markets, right? They got a picture with the new SEC chairman and Cynthia Loomis. Why is Cynthia Loomis by herself? Does Cynthia Loomis need help? I'll help. Is anyone out there listening? I'll help. White House says inflation downs, jobs up. The golden age of America is underway. Bond chaos, deal mania, and Jamie Dimon weighs in. Yeah, okay. Whatever. Hey, Jamie, why don't we go through your earnings report with a chatbot? See what we come up with. Please. Liars. The great trade war turns into the great art of the deal. See, okay, I know everyone has to write about something. I produce content, but, they got really close to breaking everything. Really close, right? Now, They got out of it. Good for them. They took a lot of risk. Good for them. But that doesn't mean capital markets are going to be like, oh, wow, thank goodness one tweet got us out of this problem. No, bro, you don't change equity market value by 10 trillion like that and have it all just go away because we tweeted something. It doesn't just go away. What goes away is the system filled with liars and clowns and dummies and anti-human savages that don't care about you. Right? What does change is that you find a chart point, you find a head and shoulders bottom in Bitcoin, wink, and you get after it. Just get after it, right? The time for being afraid is over. It's over. In crypto, they want to be scared in equities, good, right? They want to be afraid in bonds, good, right? We borrow too much money, good. They can't refinance the debt, good, right? Let the dollar go down. Like gold is massively higher. Silver is on its 200-day moving average. Like all the stuff that you want to own is like people have just like discarded it. Legacy has a recession priced in. Those analysts, and I've been this way, I get it. They got so twisted up. Like I didn't get all of this right, but I never got bearish because I just think that's stupid, right? And all these clowns priced in a recession. Everyone's like revising their numbers. Every time the orange man tweets like, oh my God, it's a recession. Oh my God, it's a recession. Are they taking orders? Who are they taking their orders from? Like who in the research department goes, whoa, okay. Wow, the orange man's doing tariffs. Let's go. Let's rearrange everything for a recession. Bullish sentiment's at 0. Let's join in on that. Whatever. I'm not doing it. I mean, I know this sounds like I'm crazy. I'm not doing that. Matter of fact, I'm doing exactly the opposite. Do you want to listen to these people? Do you want them running your life? Right? Yeah, okay. Orange man looks super cool. Record volume, 0 liquidity. Exhausted Goldman traders warn any positive headlines are met with explosive reactions on April 7th because you had indiscriminate short selling. You had just indiscriminate. Like, I got to get out and I got to get short. Like, all the hedge funds got out and then all the momentum following models went from long to short. They bought bonds and sold stocks and they got smoked on both of them. Risk parity funds that buy stocks and then buy bonds as a hedge, smoked. You have total P&L destruction in legacy. And that doesn't go away in a day. So everyone's going to look at the legacy world and go, wait a minute. What am I doing here? What am I doing here? And this has got to mean Bitcoin epically out of the gate. It's a question of time. It's like tick, 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 tick. And then once Bitcoin goes, everyone's going to look around and go, why are we selling ETH again at 1,500? Why? Why are we listening to dimwits on Twitter talking about, oh, double-digit Solana, here we come. I'm super short. Shut up. Shut up. What are you going to do when Bitcoin takes off, right? I mean, that was a lesson in all coins yesterday, right? I mean, all coins are having a tough time. I get it. Stocks are having a tough time. Okay, I get it. It's not the best environment for all coins. But you have to start asking yourself, what happens if Bitcoin goes up 25% in a week? What happens if Bitcoin goes up 25% in one day? We haven't seen that lately. We haven't, right? Where is the seller? Unless BlackRock is going to use the Bitcoin ETF, the options market, to try to hold Bitcoin down. And I don't even think they can do that because there's no supply. There's no supply. I wish I could tell you that the orange man outsmarted the world, but that's not what happened. Okay? According to this grumpy old man, right? Japan, China, and others were mass dumping our bonds, which means people were losing confidence in the U.S. economy. Okay, man. Yeah. Actually, the people who are dumping the bonds were the hedge funds, right? That's who's dumping the bonds, right? Now, of course, other sovereigns could have been dumping the bonds too. I mean, everybody's got to play the game, right? Which means people are losing confidence in the economy. Bro, they've already lost confidence in the economy. Why do you think the orange man is resorting to extreme measures? He walked in, Brandon held him gave him this bag. They spend $1 trillion every 5 months. You don't think there are repercussions from that? Of course there are. And again, it's all bullish crypto. Again, YouTube member area, dude. You don't have to, don't listen to me, man. Don't listen to me. See, here we go. He's reading The Art of the Deal. I don't think he is. And he's reading The Art of War. That's definitely not true. right? He's running the Atlantic City Mafia playbook of just lean on everybody while simultaneously creating a distraction of what may actually really be wrong. Seriously, like it's race to the bottom. He wants his currency down and he wants his currency down. Jim Rickards, his first book, Currency Wars. It's race to the bottom in fiat. How low can I get my currency to get trade in my favor? And I don't understand how this is not like ridiculously bullish digital assets. They're all buying gold because there's probably a problem with gold in the legacy market. There isn't enough physical gold, blah, 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 blah. Yes, add that to the problems that they have in legacy. The Chinese yuan is falling to its lowest level in 20 years, and that won't stop. The Chinese may not care now, but they might if it gets out of hand, which the foreign exchange market is the original market where things get out of hand. And the only way it stops is with aggressive rate cuts by the Fed. That's the only way that stops, right? If they're buying the dollar and they're selling the Chinese currency, the only way to get them to stop buying the dollar is to cut rates. I know the dollar is falling versus every other currency this morning. That's fine. That's great. But this just, this cannot continue to plummet indiscriminately without major cracks in the system, which has already got enough cracks in it, right? I mean, the Chinese were printing money to buy every asset that they had. They were insolvent before the orange man pulled the pin on this whole tariff thing. Those characters are done. Like, I can't believe that you just don't wake up one day and the Hong Kong-based Bitcoin ETF doesn't have like epic flows to it. Or somebody big announces a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Or somebody tries to take over a Bitcoin mining company. I mean, if there was ever going to be a white swan, now would be it. Okay, Chinese sellers on Amazon upset. Lutnick, who should just be quiet, talks about how he sat around with Scott Bessent and wrote this tweet. This guy is, I just can't believe you could be a billionaire and be this stupid. Dude, strategic Bitcoin reserve. Where is it? Where is it? Right? Where is the strategic Bitcoin reserve, dude? Tell me. You know what? It's coming up because the only way this guy can save himself is to start talking about it. Cynthia Loomis needs some help. Now, this I think is real and funny. Don't be a panican, right? Be an American, not a panican. I like it. Now, the orange man's also telling you that I'm done. I'm not done, playing, playing dangerous gambling games with your economy and the whole thing because I have to get things done. So I'm not done gambling. Stop panicking. My opinion is start buying Bitcoin. In the art of the deal, Trump's negotiating strategy that he used consistently for decades. Start with an extreme position and be willing to walk away if the deal does not meet your standards. And then pray that Bessent and the Fed can save you when you break everything. I got a better idea. He just made the case for Bitcoin. Everyone's like, oh, it's the art of the deal. That's the book. It's the art of the deal. It's the art of war. No, bro. It's the Bitcoin standard. That's the thing you should be reading, not art of the deal. Okay. Do tune in to the YouTube member area. Also, check about Don't Sell Everything, Not So Fast. Buy Bitcoin on CoindDesk, timestamped April 7th. Love the co-host of that show, right? May this video live forever. As everyone's talking about Black Monday, and I'm talking about Bitcoin. European Union says we'll buy more natural gas from the United States while we take your phones away and throw you in jail for listening to my show. China says it's willing to negotiate, but will fight to the end if the U.S. refuses to compromise. Yeah, okay. You know what? Come talk to us when your currency is at zero, and then we'll have a discussion. $1 billion in Tether minted. Boom. They're coming. Treasury bonds go into the market. Tether gets printed. Right? That's it. They're just printing Tether. Everybody is coming. Wall Street has grown wealthier, and it continues to grow and do well. But for the next 4 years, it's Main Street's term We don't care about the stock market. Get out of the stock market and get in Bitcoin. Your tax dollars we're going to pay, I don't know, unemployment benefits, fraud everywhere. Notice Elon off the main headlines. Trump pauses some tariffs, boosts others. This should have been the strategy from the begin with. Ripple acquisition of Hidden Road, a defining moment for XRP Ledger. Okay. I really, by the way, the XRP timing and roadmap is in the YouTube member area. I'm not going to say another word about it. Tokenized gold volume hits $1 billion. So we're tokenizing gold. We need to tokenize everything. You tokenize gold and your Bitcoin will sit there and you'll have to tokenize anything to get people to buy it, right? The UK's 2026 crypto regime is coming. Crypto authorization shakeup targeting stablecoins. Builders worldwide should take note, okay? The United Kingdom's Financial Conduct Authority is working on plans for a new gateway authorization regime in 2026, right? But the frameworks, regulators may look to other jurisdictions for lessons and inspirations. Okay, bigger net than anti-money laundering. Dude, just get out of Europe. And if you're in Europe, get into antivirus, get into privacy, get into something. It's not funny what they're doing over there. I don't know if this is a bullish or bearish article for privacy. It's not clear right off the bat. Meme coin degeneracy is funding groundbreaking anti-aging research. How nice. We have a talk in the YouTube member area about when the next meme coin super cycle will unfold. You know, I don't talk about it as much as I should, but I can't wait for talking John McAfee. So tired of these Web 2 CEOs. So sick of them. I look at them and I'm like, you know, homie, you look a little bit like Satan to me. I need to be on the air with Janice and John. We'll talk about you, right? Like, you can maybe ignore me. You're not going to be able to ignore digital John McAfee on CNBC telling you what to go do with yourself. It's not going to happen, right? And when that does happen, you're not going to believe the popularity of the antivirus cryptocurrency, which is what it is. Bitcoin inflows to Binance see strong acceleration ahead of March inflation print. Inflation is old news. U.S. stock market breaks record as history points to bearish signals. Look, when you have an 8% rally, we'll go through it in PowerPoint. Okay, this looks like the cough, cold, and flu bottom in 2020, where Bitcoin actually made the bottom and stayed there while equities had one final puke. ETH whale dumps 22 million after 9 years. Insane, as we need DeFi right now. Insane that people are dumping ETH. It's a battle-tested network with layer 2s making it even bigger. Along with Solana. Crazy that they're just indiscriminately throwing this stuff out of a car like a used Dairy Queen cup. Binance market share going up. New bull run or new bear market. Only time will tell. No, actually, bro, I'll tell you. We'll also tell you in the YouTube member area and Patreon. I don't care. I don't care. Carry me out. Unfollow me. There's no way you're getting me off this. There's no way. Like, the things that we've wanted in the Satoshi Nakamoto Bitcoin white paper, the things that you wanted in the Bitcoin standard, the things that every Bitcoin maximalist has annoyed everybody talking about for 5 years is happening right now. Right now. Right now. It's like, okay, we can do some charts. We'll do some charts. Okay. But do you need the charts? You don't need the charts. Your brain and the pain from this down market is telling you, oh, well, I can't, or I shouldn't, or I'm wrecked. Listen, everyone's wrecked. Everyone's psychologically wrecked. I was psychologically wrecked. I don't care. There is no way I am going to be on public record running for cover at the low where the Bitcoin standard comes true. I want my grandkids to go, hey, Dad, what did you do at 80K? I know what me and the Eagle King were doing at 20K, right? And I know what me and the Eagle King and Toby are doing at 80K. We're like, listen, this is going to 3X. This is going to 3X in 9 months. And it could 2X by the Bitcoin conference. And everyone's just sitting around going, no way. No way. Very important economics news. The average American's weekly paycheck, adjusted for inflation, fell 4% under Brandon, but has now grown each month under the Orange Man. Turned out all we needed was new leadership. This whole inflation thing was engineered, and it wasn't fake. It was real. It was engineered. Basically, they hate you. They hate you. Who's they? I don't know. Who's running Europe? Like whose ideology was Brandon following? Where did he get that from? You know what I'm saying? Like where did he get it from? Pro Bitcoin Paul Atkins officially sworn in at the SEC. Amazing. Not one word about it. Not one word. Meanwhile, European Central Bank wants a CBDC to counter U.S. stablecoin growth. Yeah, exactly. We want stablecoins to preserve the dollar. So our answer to that is to create a CBDC using your stablecoin platform as an excuse so we can turn you into somebody who eats bugs. Bugs. They hate you. They hate you. Look at this. German coalition government wants to strengthen democracy by abolishing it. Right? But some of their leaked proposals have already raised eyebrows and alarm bells because they seem to involve curbing free speech and even banning certain politicians from running for office. Like, dude, maybe what we need for antivirus is we need like a gym where you can work out so you can run away from the police, and you can have your cell phone with your antivirus eSIM card and your eGift card so they can't see you, and your antivirus email so you can tell your girlfriend or your wife you love her, right, without someone seeing it. Right? April 20th is coming up, so you can get green plants on there without anybody knowing about it. Although I suspect they don't have a problem with green plants in Europe. I don't actually know. Somebody feel free to comment down below. Right? I don't know what their problem is, but whatever it is, it's dangerous to humanity. Right? And you got to save yourself. Again, the speech in the YouTube member area, I mean, Toby Ward went full, like, I don't know, man. It's like Winston Churchill with curly blonde hair and free people clothes. That's what it sounded like to me. You can't possibly miss it. Not to mention, like, the real conviction on what's going on here. It's right here. And she, you know what? She doesn't even look at this stuff. Like, I am hip deep in this all day, right? She's just like, yeah, okay, this is what's going to happen. I'm like, oh, okay, well, fine. I see it too, right? She sees it first, and then I see it. That's the benefit of the YouTube member area. Because I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, in this market, I have felt like a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest for like at least 2 weeks. Now I'm just like, I'm coming out of the gate. Because good luck taking Bitcoin that back down sustainably below 80. Good luck with that. Good luck, right? They have revealed themselves, and I'm not buying it. Just not buying it. Okay, antivirus. So, obviously, you have someone giving up down here. You got guys after me on X, and the more of a hard time they give me, I'm just like digging in harder now, because now I know they're afraid, right? Because they built this like cross-chain mixer, like they built all this stuff, and even Just Dario and a lot of these other guys are saying, my God, it's like, they have you have a Solana and ETH privacy tool. It's unbelievable, and they just keep building this stuff, right? They have email, they got all this, and McAfee will be talking soon, Like I've seen it. I mean, I know that one of the big Silicon Valley companies, I don't know if I retweeted it. I don't know where I have it, but I do know, right? I do. Oh yeah, by the way, let me see what this tweet got. So this tweet got 31,000 views, me talking about Black Monday. So everyone wanted to talk about Black Monday at the low, and I basically said it wasn't Black Monday, right? Meanwhile, big social media companies, and I don't know if I have it in here, big social media companies have got basically talking AI people right now. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Right? Talking people. This is AI. Right? You know, we got a girl, okay? And then you can flip over and we have emotions where someone's monologuing with their cat, and we have a guy chopping up vegetables. Where is this going to be in 6 months? Where is this going to be in a year? Where's AIntivirus? Where's Bitcoin going to be in a year? You can't possibly look at this, and you can't possibly look at the cracks in the system. And you can't possibly look at the orange man going, get this deep stage stool Powell out of the Fed, right? He can't cut rates fast enough. He can't put enough sugar in the system, right? Get this guy out of there. These are signals, right? And this brings back McAfee. Who is the counterweight exactly to these Web 2 CEOs? Who's the counterweight? There isn't any. There's two. There's going to be Bitcoin and McAfee. Those are going to be the counterweights. Meanwhile, the whole general public is invested, and those guys, I don't know, they just want you to eat bugs. I'm not eating bugs. I'm not. Okay, so let's look at the market, shall we? I'm going to switch over. So we have the dollar falling out of bed. We have a bond auction later today. I can't wait to see who wants Uncle Sugar's 30-year paper. That should be certainly interesting. That'll get everybody to put down the art of the deal and wake up, I suspect. I used to work on the floor of the Chicago Board of Trade in the bond pit. Oh, scary. $39 billion in long bonds. That's a lot. Okay, so we're doing a smackaroo today. It's fine. And we're going to maybe start with some fib numbers. See what we can get. Okay, 62% back of yesterday's move is 78K. Okay, that's a level of interest. Okay, QQQ. So in stocks, you filled the gap and you don't want to see a failed rally. Actually, this DeMark work is better than it was yesterday because I was really afraid of a failed rally, and I still am, right? Like S&P didn't fill the gap all the way, but the DeMark work is incredible, right? It's not climbing back above this key point, but I mean, this is like the mother of all blow-off bottoms, potentially, right? I suspect they're not going to like today's bond auction. That's just a guess, right? Here's TLT, which is the long bond ETF. So good news for the market is it's a 13 bottom. I didn't even see this, right? It's been trying to make a bottom for a long time, and finally the price action was nasty enough, so they got the 13 bottom. So if long bonds stabilize, great. If not, you got 5 more down days in long bonds. That would be no bueno. But again, in crypto, these things are an opportunity. The legacy system has got cracks in it. Put down the art of the deal and go back to the stuff where we're looking at these hedge fund trades that are blowing up, private equities blowing up. It's blowing up. It's not going to unblow up because you had a one-day rally. It's not. Okay, this is my opinion about Bitcoin. My name is Buck, and I don't give a... All right, so yesterday we had $39 billion in 10-year notes, and that got taken down and no one noticed. So they sorted that out, and I guess that's the Fed in there. I'm guessing. And today they got 22 billion. So it's 39 billion 10-year notes yesterday, 22 billion long bonds. That is twice as many long bonds as the scariest long bond auction I ever saw. Okay. Someone's got to show up for that bond. No one shows up for that bond. People are going to freak out. They freak out. It's just another reason to buy Bitcoin. It's just another reason to find all your favorite coins and start with Bitcoin and then go down the list. Because as they smack this thing, they've already shown their hand. They've already shown that they're afraid, right? The orange man did his thing, got himself out of it with Twitter for one day. And how's he going to get himself out of it tomorrow? Whatever it is, right? You got to want to be outside the system at this point. It's obvious. Okay. So, when Bitcoin is up 8% on the 9th day of a month, ironically, it's actually kind of bearish for 3 days, right? Bitcoin can get smacked. It's 4%, 7% down, right? It's a huge move in 2013. So Bitcoin can get spanked tactically, right? But that's good. Like, when do you want to be stupid bullish and talk about 120? When it's down, right? When it's down. No one wants to talk about it when it's down. That's when you talk about it, when it's down. Now, so Nasdaq up 8% in one day with Bitcoin 8% in one day. When's the last time that happened? How about March 13th, 2020? Bitcoin was 77% higher in 55 days. Now, you're like, well, Bill, Bitcoin can't go 77% higher. Oh, you think so, huh? Wait to see this. Wait to see the results of the long bond auction. Wait to see what the Chinese currency does overnight. Wait to see if anybody wants to go home long the Chinese equity market, right? What happens? Okay, so just to be clear, on March 13th, 2020, you had this huge rally in equities, and then they had like a big puke. This was, cough, cold, and flu. So, gapped it up, dropped it. That could still happen. Everybody was looking for Black Monday this past Monday. What about some kind of problem at the end of the week or at the beginning of next week? What happens if people lose it? Toby was at a taco bar sitting with some guy who's long equities, and the guy at the next table is like, yeah, wow, stocks are up 8% one day. Why am I eating tacos? I'm rich now. I'm gonna go eat steak. I'm like, oh my God, sell everything. This could happen because they don't like this long bond or something stupid happens. These traders, these private equity guys, these players trapped in these bad hedge fund trades, if they don't know what to do, they will sell S&P. I don't want that to happen necessarily, but they will do it. Now, meanwhile, back at the crypto ranch on March 13th of 2020, all the damage had been done. Bitcoin went down 40%. March 13th was the bottom, and then it just did nothing but go up. In other words, it decoupled. I didn't even realize it. It decoupled. And if it happened then, it's definitely going to happen now, right? The Fed or Besson or somebody is coming in, right? And when they do, they're going to start the strategic reserve talk, and this thing is going to smoke because the volatility, you can feel it. Like crypto's up 8%, down 8%, up 8%, down 8%, right? Now, that either produces one of two things. It produces an awful move to the downside, or it produces an absolute explosion into an illiquid Easter holiday. Continue to say this, right? Like Easter's like right around the corner. Europe leaves. Everyone's on vacation. Boom. Boom. You just wake up and Bitcoin is gone after they shake everybody out. They start talking about Michael Saylor getting liquidated. That is always bullish. And as volatility leaks from market to market, the volatility is coming to Bitcoin. And if you look at this, it's over. It's done, right? It's going to decouple. It's already decoupled. Now, this I continue to believe if you can get a top in tariff talk. So the tariff thing has hopefully exhausted itself. Now, in the past, in 2017, this is the blue line is the number of tariff headlines. So when tariff headlines were high, when they came off, Bitcoin went from 931 to 2.7K. That was in February of 2017. Then when tariff talk topped in July, Bitcoin went from 3K to close to 5K. And then when you had the big tariff talk top in September, it went from 5K to 20K. And I don't see why this is any different. If they can get off the tape about this tariff thing, You know what I'm saying? Maybe they go back and forth with the Chinese, but if this is not the #1 story in a week, Bitcoin will be higher. Right? This is why they got to change the subject. Stable coins, tax cuts, Bitcoin strategic reserve. Michael Saylor said 2 days ago, if you knew what I knew, you would know you would have Bitcoin at 10 million tomorrow. Well, I don't know what Michael Saylor knows. I don't know who he's got a direct line to. Maybe Besant. Maybe he knows what's going on in the system. Or maybe he knows that they've got the strategic Bitcoin reserve queued up and that he's going to help them build it. If you knew what I knew, Bitcoin would be at $10 million. I mean, Michael Saylor says a lot of things, but that's not what he usually says. So when tariff talk stops, Bitcoin goes up. And just as a reminder, because I know you're going to think I'm a total idiot, Bitcoin was at 1,000 in 2017. In April, it was at 1,000. Okay. In May, it doubled. And then they smoked it higher again in August. And I don't think it's going to be till August. I think they're going to do it in July. Just do it, right? First it's Bitcoin, then it's ETH, then it's memes. Again, check the YouTube member area. Now, of course, I can say this because no one believes me. No one believes it. And that's exactly why it's going to happen. People got caught off guard by the downside in stocks, even though they should have known it was coming. Then people got caught off guard, right? When the bond market, which should have rallied, crashed, sort of, right? The whole thing backfired. Like, it was scary. Okay, that was surprise number 2. What's surprise number 3? Well, I don't know. Let's see. Choice is Jamie Dimon's earnings, a problem in the gold market, or one of the things that we've said in the YouTube member area is that you got to start looking for positive catalysts. What's the positive catalyst? What's Toby's price target? What's the timing? 120. When? Now? Later? I don't know. Join and find out. Or you could just say F around and find out in crypto. Like, fade this, buy into this bearish stuff, whatever. They want to chop it around till Easter, whatever. Just take it from them, right? Because when this thing turns, like I said, volatility moves from market to market. No one gets that. Yes, ETH is down, so maybe you could argue that it already happened in crypto, but you haven't seen anything shocking in crypto. You haven't seen anything that's like, oh my God. You know, stock market, 3 trillion in one day, 10 trillion from the top, 1 trillion ranges. They have $1 trillion market cap ranges in the S&P. And you're telling me this can't happen? No way, man. No way. Okay, let's go back to TA. All right. So Bitcoin on a 90-minute chart. I know we discussed this. It's not shaping up quite the way I wanted it to. I was kind of hoping this was a shoulder and this was a head and this was a shoulder. Maybe not, although we'll see. Okay. Bitcoin down 4%. Now, there's 2 ways to look at this. The first way to look at it is it can't get back above the 200-day moving average. And of course it needs to, right? But what happens if it does? That's a question, right? What happens if it does? Crypto Chronic is here from Louisiana. Welcome. Okay. It's amazing to watch ETH versus Bitcoin. I don't know if I've got my monthly DeMark signal yet. I'm afraid of what has to happen in order to get it. I'm kind of hoping it's a big Bitcoin rally. I'm just looking for a bottom in ETH versus Bitcoin. I may not get it right now. Okay. So that's ETH versus Bitcoin on a 90-minute chart, on a monthly chart. Oh my God, there it is. The 13 bottom is finally here. So these plus signs, like it, we'll get a bottom, we'll get a bottom, we'll get a bottom, we'll get a bottom. And then finally it has to be nasty enough. There's the 13 bottom in ETH versus Bitcoin on a monthly chart. Hopefully that stays right there because you got a 13 bottom and a 9 bottom, and they cannot stop selling ETH at 14 effing hundred. Right? Look at where ETH versus Bitcoin is. Right? Yeah. You know, yesterday I was like, wow, you know, Bitcoin dominance. I don't know if Bitcoin dominance can explode. Well, it can, but ETH can go along now because obviously ETH versus Bitcoin is back where it was in 2019. So we're back, just so you know, we're back to the whole idea that ETH has no use case. That was the thing about ETH back then. It's got no killer app. It's just, you don't do anything with it. It's useless. Okay. Okay, bro. It's useless. Right. Just like the Magnificent Seven was going up forever. Just like OpenAI's books are koshers. Like NVIDIA's accounting is just fine. Like Microsoft's an AI stock. Like Jamie Dimon's not hiding any losses. But yeah, I mean, let's completely give up on Ethereum. Crazy. Crazy. Right? It's like the more they push back, the more I want to get involved. So you got 13 bottom in bonds. You got a 13 bottom in ETH versus Bitcoin. Right? And then if you go to Solana, right? So Solana not doing anything right here. We can't get confirmation. Can't get confirmation. And this speaks, just honestly to this problem where, in some ways you have like a TA, like a void. Like it's hard to find bottom signals, but I knew there was one in Solana. It's the 9 bottom on a weekly chart. Now, when was the last 9 bottom on a weekly chart in Solana? I don't even know. Right? I mean, you had a 9 bottom in June of 2022. So that was like the prelude to winter. You had a 13 bottom in December of 2022. But, the history of Solana doesn't have a lot of 9 bottoms. You have one here, but that was post FTX. You have one here. You got this, big rally. You haven't had, oh yeah, this is what I was looking for. So, and I remember watching Solana during this time period. Like this was the last 9 bottom in Solana. You went up, you retested it, and then boom, was gone. I'm part of me is wondering, it's either a fake out like this, right? Beware the failed rally, or it's like the original one where it's just like, oh, imagine if Solana at 100 was as cheap as Solana at $3. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Right? I think Big Rich, who's a big fan of the show, he wanted me to do Solana. I think he wanted me to do Sui. He was asking in Patreon. I'll do it in Patreon too. Okay. I mean, Sui could be this simple, right? You had this old high at like something like $2. You have the 9 bottom. You have the failed rally. But will the old high hold? I don't know. I have a really hard time fading this the way this looks. Okay. And again, part of the issue with the market, I mean, you do have a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder, maybe. There aren't bottoming signals everywhere. There aren't. I mean, there are some signals like Solana and bonds and ETH versus Bitcoin, but like say XRP, like, it would be great if XRP turned around right here. That would be awesome. This is not a bottom signal yet until it rips to the upside. I wish I had it. I just don't have it. Right now, what's been working, in case you're doing this at home, has been 90-minute charts. 90-minute charts have been working. You had the 13 bottom in XRP, right? Then it popped up, and now it looks like XRP may hold here and possibly go up to 213, right? Bitcoin actually did really good, what was useful on a 90-minute chart as well. Okay, so here's the 90-minute chart of Bitcoin. The 3-wave was at 81K. The 4-wave correction is down here at 78. And then where's the 5-wave going to go? Probably 89. Because again, I'm sure there's a reason why everyone's selling it today. I don't care, right? Maybe they're afraid of this bond auction. 78K might be your level. Okay, the YouTube member area, we've explained all of this and why you should care about crypto. It's inspiring. It's accurate. It's timely. I don't know. It's like I got off of that and I was like, oh my God, I am going to get on this thing and I'm going to set this webcam on fire. On fire. Okay. YouTube member area, Patreon for 6th Street Crypto. Been coaching people all the way through. Anybody who's not in crypto, anybody who is not pouring their heart, soul, and their money into this as best they can, not investment advice, not the rent money. Anybody who's not pouring their heart and soul into crypto right now is making a mistake, right? Heart and soul. Bitcoin conference in Vegas. You got to think about the future. You can't have recency bias. You got to say, okay, if something bad's happening now, how could it change by May? And even if you can't figure out what that is, although, hello, Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, duh, right? They're gonna have this conference and not say anything about it. Come on, they're gonna have to do a build up to it. Where is this thing going to be on Memorial Day? Where's it going to be on Easter? And where's it going to be on Memorial Day? And are you ready for that? Is anybody ready for that? You're probably ready for that because you watched the show. Speaking of watching the show, if you've made it through the entire hour and 15 minutes, I know you want to hit the notification bell. We're on fire again on short videos, so check those out. If you're watching the short videos, comment down below. So please pay us a visit. Please hit the notification bell. And for God's sakes, don't give up on crypto. Do not let them scare you out of the water with all this shark, shark, shark talk. There is no shark. There's just a revelation that everything in legacy is bunk. We'll see you tomorrow.